Hello everyone, this is Mr. Terminal for Cloud Infrastructure Services. Today we are looking into setting up proxy server, which is the Squid Proxy Server on AWS. So we have the market page here. The link is provided in the description. You go on with continue to subscribe. And once you subscribe, you will get some loading here. Once that's done, basically your subscription would be active. And then you can continue with configuration. Right. Now we want to select what type of delivery method it is. So go with the 64-bit Amazon machine. Perfect. Region is okay. You can pick whatever you prefer. This is fine for me. Rates will apply. Check them. Continue to launch. Launch through EC2. You can go from launch from website, but we need some in-depth configuration, so we are going with EC2. You will get your management console. So you can see the choose AMI part is already done because you don't really need to do that. We already decided it. It's a Squid proxy image, right? Yeah, T2 micro. This is gonna be enough. And networking, I'm pretty sure you don't have to worry about it. So just review and launch. Yep, launch. Create a new pair for Squid proxy. Download a key pair. Okay, for Squid proxy.pem save. Launch instances. So this is what I was talking about, authorizing inbound rules. You don't have to worry about them since you are using an image. It makes tons of things a lot easier. The instances are now launching. Let's go to view instances. And this is our instance. We got its public IP, great. On style. You want to select that. Now it's in running state, so you can connect to it. Let's connect. That's fine. Connect. And we are inside it. Inside our local system. Let me clear the screen up. Now here we need to do some configurations, and the configuration file is in etc squid. So you can see it into it, and you can list the files here. And squid.configuration is what you're looking for. And we want to, of course, edit that first. Let's sudo it. Now there are a tons of configuration you can do, and we will go through them one by one. Now the first one we are looking for is an access control list. What that is it tells the Squid proxy from which networks can I accept my traffic from. So by default, it only has 10.0.0.0/8 CIDR block allowed. That's the default configuration. Of course, that's not what we're going to work with practically. So what you want to do is search for ACL localnet source 10. You will search this much and you should get to the line that we need. Instead of this, localnet is by default allowed. So you can use the same name, a list called localnet. This is the name of the list. You can use anything, or name of the network to be precise. And the source is your network IP, whatever that is, your range, a CIDR block. So it could be anything. This is for all networks. Obviously, that's not the one you will use. But if you want, why not? You can allow everyone to access it. But if not, then you should precisely mention your own CIDR block. What network is allowed to access this proxy? I'm keeping the defaults for now. And since I'm using only default network name, so I don't have to do anything. But since you are going to use, let's say, ACL my network and give your network address, CID block. So instead of that, then you have to access or change one more thing. It's called HTTP access. Just search for HTTP access allow. Localnet. Yeah, so this is the one I was looking for. Here, instead of localnet, well, not instead, because some settings are by default. So you want to enter a new line that says the exact same thing. Give XDS access to my network. Again, this is the name of whatever you chose in the local net instead. So for local net, it is already allowed. You don't, if you kept the network name local, no need to change that. Otherwise, you can go with my network or whatever your network name you chose. And that's it. You will, all those networks you configured will have an access to it. Now, another important thing I want you to know is knowing your cache manager. And this is pretty straightforward. Let me just search for it. So you want to look for, this is a big file, so it's easy to search and do things. Cache manager. Look for this tag. And just above this tag, you can go and mention cache manager, MGR. And here I want you to enter, not I want you to, the Squid Proxy wants you to enter the email address of anyone at, well, possibly at an administration level, who will do the accounting for. So what that means is, if there is some kind of an error or a problem inside the Squid Proxy server, there will be a mail sent automatically to this person. So this is something that is not configured by default. Obviously, they don't know what your mail is, cannot be configured by default. So this is something you need to definitely add. This is definitely important to know what's going on and debug the issue at ASAP. So yeah, keep this setting in mind, definitely. One more thing is, we know the default Squid Proxy server is at 3128, right? And there might be a requirement we need to change that. So there is a way for doing that as well. Search for HTTP port and search for the default one, 3128, and you will land into that area. The default one is obviously allowed. This is where the Squid proxy will listen to everything, right? And yeah, so if you want to add another port where it listens to, simply add another line and your favorite port. It could be multiple ports. So if I want to add another port where it listens to, I can go ahead with that as well. That's changing your listening port. And next setting that is crucially important also, depending on your scenario again, what you want to be changing is your host name. Now default is Squid Proxy. Search for visible host name. Again, this host name is visible. That's why it's called that. You can hop onto this line, about tag, type visible host name again, easy peasy. And here you want to basically type the name of the host you're looking for, host name you want, instead of the default called Squid Proxy. And let me just pick Squid Proxy one, and your host name is configured. That's the host name setting for you. This will overlap the defaults. Obviously, that's the purpose of the configuration file, to override the defaults. Now, next use case I want to share with you is if someone is using your proxy, and of course they are the user, and you do not want the user to access certain websites. Depending on your case scenarios, it could be anything depending on the client or organization. Now, I will just take an example of Facebook and YouTube. Maybe it's a work website and you don't want people to access that who are using that proxy, right? Search for, well, your commands can be accepted anywhere at all, but we want to be a little bit more organized, right? Or we can just go for, right. Says allow. Yeah, this is where I want to be. Again, no matter where you write the command, it will be accepted, but just to, organize file. So you don't want to be random. So next time you're looking for a setting, it's not anywhere random. It's somewhere, oh, this is where I kept it. So you don't have to go line by line. That's the only reason I'm searching and writing the command here. But no matter where you enter it in the file, it will be configured and it will override the defaults. Now, what we were doing is block the access to some websites, for people or users, the client who are using this proxy. So what we want to do is create a list first, okay? Block websites. So we are creating a list called block website. You can name it whatever you want. It's just a name. And it's a DST domain list kind. So this is what you're blocking, and now this is what you want. This is where I want you to pay attention. Keep the syntax in mind. You enter a period and website name, facebook.com. And another website I'm blocking is second period and website. That's it. That's how you create the list. I created a list of DST domains which has 2 websites in it, but that still doesn't tell the server what am I to do with these. It's just a list. So that's where the HTTP access command comes in. What do you want to do with HTTP access? We want to deny this. Deny who? Block website lists. This is the list of websites I just want you to deny HTTP access to. And that's it. These 2 command lines is all you need to block certain websites. And this top line, this list could be as long as you want. right? And that completes your configuration for blocking the website. Now, there is a rare scenario you want to block access to some ports. That can happen too. There is no saying. Let me just write it here itself. Okay, so we block the websites, right? Now we want to block ports. Again, the procedure is definitely same with minor changes. We're creating an access control list. We are naming it blocked ports. And this is not a DHT domain, this is a port. List of ports. Port 80 is the one. It could be anything again. And we want to say deny access to what? You guys did block ports. And that's it. Your configuration for port is done, so nobody can access port 80 now, which is by your, just to give you an information where all different websites are run. So it might be a very detailed server, the configuration server, where you want to give your access to. So no random stuff. In that case, this can happen. Now, another highlight, something I want to highlight is intercepting your proxy. What does that mean? It means if you're going to intercept users' browser traffic by forcing HTTP traffic to go via proxy, you want to force it, that traffic has to go through. And that essentially means you have to reroute stuff, right? So then you have to do just one little tiny tweak. Search for it, not here in the search bar. HTTP port 3182. That's where I already 3128. My bad. Go to this port and any port that you want to do this setting to, basically, and just write transparent. Not write, type transparent, and that will do the job. You have rerouted all the traffic, users traffic through this proxy, and with all that restrictions, yeah, they are bound to follow it now. Now, there's something that is again a rare choice, but again something you should know. It's called anonymous browsing. Yes, it means exactly what it says. So usually when someone the user accesses any website to the user's IP is sent to the website. So it's obviously not anonymous. They know who is accessing, but in some scenarios, maybe you don't want that for whatever reason. You have to tweak one thing and a lot of things actually, but we will make it easy for you. That's what we are here for. So search for forwarded for odd. Oh, I missed an R. Yep, this is what you want to be on. This setting is by default on. It says we want to change that. Forwarded for off. Right? And below this, there's a bunch of settings that we will share with you. I already have it copied, so I'm just gonna go ahead and paste it. Yep, these are all of the settings that you need to copy and paste. Again, this is provided in the description. Please do look into that. And once that's done, we are done with the configurations. These are most of the major configurations that you would need to change and will have to change when you're looking for Squid Proxy setup. So yeah, save the file. We are back into our shell. Now, this is something, just a side note, that I changed all of these settings at once. But even if you tweak one setting, you would have to restart. the proxy server in order for it to work. But I did all of it at once, so I'm restarting it only once. You get my point, right? You have to restart every time you change a setting and you want it to apply. So yeah, restart it. It takes only some seconds. And yeah, that's it. That finishes our Squid Proxy setup on AWS. While it's restarting, I might just point out this little pic. So when you set up a proxy and you want your Windows to connect to it, this is the kind of how you go into the LAN settings and put your IP address of the proxy and port if you didn't change anything, the default, and if you did change the port, enter that port and okay, and you should have the access to internet. Yeah, once you restart, your configuration is completely done and everything is smooth and working. If you liked the video and if it helped you, please like and subscribe. Just going through some of the more use cases of this. And yeah, thanks for watching.